What's Off the Rails. We are doing our bonus content for you. We are here with Susan Majeski. We also have our youngest person ever on the podcast.
Baby Majeski.
5 months.
5-month-old little Helen Majeski.
She's learning from the best.
There you go. And so what's it like being a new parent?
Actually, it's not too bad. I think we have it easier than most people because she sleeps during the night.
Okay.
Which I think our goal in life is not to raise an asshole. I mean, as long as we do that, like, don't be a dick, we'll be great.
That's all new parents out there.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. If I can impress anything upon you, don't be a dick.
Were you there, Mark? Mark's here with us too. The muscle.
I was there.
You were there?
I cut the cord.
Oh no!
Hosed the lady doctor. She's playing catcher. She's receiving Helen and said, "You want to cut this?" I do, and blood all over her face in the umbilical cord.
Thank you for that.
That was the territory. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, you're a professional. I'm in my pajamas because they literally shuffled us into this room at the last minute. So I'm in a hoodie and sweatpants. She's covered in scrubs.
That's how you do it.
Right in the face.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So you were sweating bullets when Mark was in the room, right?
Fuck, I was hot.
I didn't peek behind the curtain.
No. Please
I don't know.
Please come out white. Please come out white.
I didn't have, like, the girl, but I had something that they gave me that you're not supposed to have within, like, a couple of hours of your delivery. And they weren't thinking I was going to deliver. Mm-hmm. So they gave it to me, and they're like, oh, guess what, 15 minutes later. So I was fine. That's cool.
Did they put it in your spine?
No,
it was a pill.
That's
they gave
not
like
an
a
epidural. It was an IV.
Hmm.
I'm like, that's great. So I didn't have an epidural, but I had something else, which.
But she was born early, so it was kind of like a situation, right?
Yeah, it was. It was about almost 2 months early, and so I guess I had it easier than a lot of mothers out there, because 4 pounds versus
she was spindly,
pounds.
little spider arms everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, it's not that bad. It could be worse.
No stitches.
Never mind.
Or stitches. They don't tell you certain things about.
Well, Mark tipped the doctor $50 to add extra stitches.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta keep them stitches coming, buddy.
Hey,
the things they don't tell you. Well,
Stick that a little closer there.
They say, hey, attend these classes. They now have YouTube classes that you're supposed to log in and do. Yeah, I didn't do those.
Yeah.
Go to classes like birthing classes. No,
yeah, Lamaze, like on TV.
Lamaze, we didn't do those. Why? Because we procrastinate. And we're like, fuck that.
Well,
we don't need it, right?
2 months early. I mean,
people making babies for thousands of years. How hard can it be?
I would love to blame being 2 months
Perfect
early on not
mentality to take
taking classes.
into it.
I'm pretty sure that had I been just on time, I probably still would have taken the
yeah,
classes.
but if you have another kid, you're not going to take the classes either, are you?
Hell no. That's a lot of work.
You already did it once.
Yeah,
You did it right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, there she is. Yep, that's our youngest podcaster right now, 5-month-old
She's
Helen.
like, hell yeah!
You named her after your grandma?
I did. Who was a badass.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Grandma Kay, she had history. One leg was
nurse in the Great War or World War II.
World War II nurse, at one point ripped her IV out and used it as a lasso against nurses. I mean, she was feisty.
Awesome.
Her my great grandmother, her grandmother was into the whole moonshine and moving alcohol up from the south.
Sure.
Oh yeah, she was a badass. She was a badass.
Yeah, they're from Southern Illinois, right?
Yeah.
So they're right there on the border.
Heck yeah. So she was into all of that, and World War II nurse, married a World War II vet who had his teeth sheared off. I mean, intense
Sheared
stuff.
off?
Yeah, no, his teeth was sheared off in the Mediterranean, and he had to get ivory teeth in Egypt.
Would have made a great wrestling villain back then.
Oh,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Badass.
The Egyptian Tooth would have been his name.
He's
the Nile Smile.
The Nile Smile. Yes.
The Nile Smile. I like that. Yeah. Awesome. Damn, now I want... If you get bit by the Nile Smile...
They used to file
That
their
is the
teeth
next.
back in
What was
those
it?
days.
WWE now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because I grew up in the era
there's
of WWF,
That's right.
which is World Wildlife
Foundation.
Foundation.
Or,
Yeah,
foundation.
no, I don't know.
I'm still watching the old videos and it's blurred out because they can't show the old logo.
Terrible.
Wow.
Or the
I don't
90s
think
logo.
I've really watched it since it was WWE. I watched it pretty hardcore when it was WWF.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Hardcore.
Kane?
Tell them about your airplane
The
ride.
Undertaker?
Mm-hmm.
Airplane ride?
Airplane ride. I met Hulk Hogan on the airplane ride.
Shut your
When
mouth.
I was
The
5!
Why do I just know this now?
What the hell?
When I was 5 years old, we got bumped up to first class, and we were going
I have a
to
boner.
Orlando.
I've been shoved up since you
And,
said Hulk Hogan. I didn't even know
Across
anything
the
else
aisle
about
from
it.
me is Hulk Hogan, and I'm wearing my Ninja Turtle sneakers. He put up with 5-year-old self for 2 hours, mind you, 2.5 hours.
You had 2.5 hours with the Hulkster.
I did, and
I'd
I
lose an
chatted
arm
Can I
for that.
smell
fucking
you?
ear off. And somewhere there's a pair of signed Ninja Turtle sneakers somewhere. I don't know where
Signed
they
by
are.
Hulk Hogan.
Signed by Hulk Hogan.
I already bought them
You know,
on
it's
eBay.
terrible because so many stories have come out where he's like, oh, he's a racist and all this crap. And I'm like, but I have this nostalgia for him because when he body slammed Andre the Giant, I mean, amazing.
My boner's gonna explode.
I just ripped my shorts. And
I
don't look
know.
me in the eyes.
I need a napkin.
I love Hulk Hogan.
Me too.
Okay,
he's still
that is-
he's still
No,
my
It's my all-time number one
Everybody
hero.
likes to rip on him, like, oh,
No,
but you don't
not in front of
understand.
me.
5-year-old self, 2.5 hours, never got irritated with me once.
I am throbbing right now.
I know.
I mean,
Kinda
it's
hot.
absurd. I'm
It's
just
totally
gonna.
hot. I loved Mr. T. I watched him every Saturday on Cartoon Express. I loved Hulk Hogan. I loved Andre the Giant. I loved all them. I loved them all.
His boner isn't gonna go down for
I
days.
know. I
So
know.
hard. It's so hard.
Blow on
So
it.
shout out.
Don't even look
You know,
at
I'm
it.
sure in like
Blow
in
on
his
it and
mind,
it'll go
I'm
down
sure
like
it
a
never
hot
even happened.
spoon
Like
of soup.
because how many fights did he have? Because I was looking at it, I was like, I don't know how old his kids are, but he must have just had his first when I like had this run-in with him. So the fact that he was that patient, hell yeah.
How old is his daughter?
I think.
DTF. Old.
Oh, yeah, is she our age?
I think Brooke is like. I
she's
think
a
she's
little
3 or
younger.
4 years younger
Younger
than
than
we are.
So
Okay.
she might have just been born when I had this, but I'm sure like. You know, you talk to him today. Like, I always thought, if Hulk Hogan ever comes back to Milwaukee, I'm gonna,
Do you remember me?
Do you remember?
Do you
I was
remember me?
5 years old. You signed my.
Did he run a promo on you at all?
No,
He just-
he was just really. He was across the aisle
Did he
and
rip his
was
shirt off?
just,
Come here, little sister brother.
He was. I mean, again, it's just from a 5-year-old's memory.
Where
It
was
was
it?
just very cool.
Where
And
was
my-
the flight going?
It was going to Orlando. It
From
was going
Milwaukee?
It was going from Milwaukee to Orlando, and we were going to meet my dad down there, and they had overbooked it. And we got bumped up to first class. So all my siblings were still back in the other class, the business class. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah,
Regular
coach.
class. And I was the
Proletariat
youngest. At
seating.
that time, my brother wasn't like. I think my mom was pregnant.
You're
with my
gonna
brother.
die on the Titanic.
And so I was up front with
Steerage.
my mom, and here he was across the aisle from me, Hulk Hogan. It was
Great.
cool.
It's like,
But he was very casual. It wasn't like he was dressed like it, but I mean, 5-year-olds, man.
Did he have sleeves on?
He did have sleeves on.
Hovered in the skies with Susan K, brother. You know, just one of those.
Do you remember that time? Do you remember the time when you body slammed Andre the Giant?
Nope. When did that happen? I was high on lewds.
Yeah, really. You know what? Kudos to him to putting up with 5-year-olds. So that's my big claim to fame is Hulk Hogan, 5 years old, Ninja Turtle sneakers.
His boner actually hurts right now. It hurts to maintain this level of rock solid
No, you're
wood.
making a shadow in the room.
I know. I'm trying to keep it matted down. See, my dad met Macho Man on the plane right after WrestleMania 4 when he won the tournament. He was going back to Florida where he lives, and my dad was visiting a friend, and like Macho Man was in full character on the plane. So like, that's why I asked if Hogan ran a promo on it.
Camouflage was
like,
not part
my-
of his history.
my
Just
dad-
snapping Slim
My
Jims.
dad still talks about it because he goes, he had the belt in his arm
Well,
when he was walking.
I'm not gonna check
would
this,
you
you
if you were
crazy.
Macho Man?
He was just like, WrestleMania 4, yeah! Like he was fucking all jacked. He's like, I won the tournament. What's your name? I'm Bob Disney, yeah! Like he's high-fiving, like he was all jacked up. Had the belt in his carry-on on the plane in his arm.
Oh, I'm not checking this.
I'd walk around with the belt every day of my life. I'd sleep with it. I would.
It's a cummerbund. There's no pair of pants that could fit that belt. It's not a real belt.
Tuck it under your arm.
Yeah.
That's why I was wondering. Because back then, that was still the kayfabe days, or however they want to say it. So it's like, they'd see you. They were still trying to create the illusion that it's real. They still protected the business, as they say. So, like, it's interesting to see when people meet the wrestlers back in that era when they were actual characters instead of dudes.
Yeah.
Like, if they were like that in real life.
They were
I know Ric Flair lived it.
Ric Flair lived
That's
life.
why he's dead.
And apparently Macho Man was always jacked
That's
up.
why he's dead.
He's gone. That's why his heart exploded while driving down the freaking street.
I have total respect for wrestlers. I mean, even it comes out that it's fake. They have to be athletic. We were just talking about the day. They have to be athletic. They have to be actors. They have to keep in shape. They have to eat right. They have to do
the
so
dietary
many
alone
things.
of how do you keep
and
that,
they have to
that
figure
body.
out how to extend their career past their physical,
Unless you're Ric
Owen
Flair,
Hart.
you can just be a
Like,
little
I mean,
guy.
you look at, they have to take risk. Owen Hart, remember when he fell? Like,
Yep.
he set the tone for what performers can do. I mean, that's why
I
the
think
Bucks...
Sting did it first, right?
Came down
Yeah.
on the, when
Yeah,
he
I
was
think
doing the
you're right.
crow thing. Yeah.
That's why the Bucks, what is it? What's the
Bango?
Bucks name? Bango can't come down now like he normally does.
Because they don't
It's
want
because
him
of
to
Owen Hart.
Yeah.
break his neck.
Live TV.
Yeah.
God, that was tragic.
Didn't Hulk Hogan break several ribs during a...
Oh, that was
Yeah.
during The Rock.
Yeah, when he
Yeah.
wrestled the Rock.
Yeah.
But still, it's dangerous. It's
Well,
not
yeah, you
like
can't-
they're...
It's a totally
You still
dangerous
take
industry.
bumps, and then you have to also
Well, dude,
sell
Mick
it.
Foley,
Yeah,
when
and
he
you
was
can't
doing
let
a
it.
cage
You can't let it
match,
affect your performance. You gotta keep moving.
busted his mouth open
his
so bad.
tooth was through his lip.
Yeah,
you know?
he's sticking his tongue out of the hole in his face.
Didn't break character.
Did
Yeah.
you guys watch the Glow thing on Netflix?
I did. I loved
The
did you watch
documentary.
the documentary on
I
it?
did not.
The documentary was
there
really interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. There's the show that they made called Glow.
The Glamorous Ladies of Wrestling.
Yes, Glamorous Ladies of Wrestling.
Starring
And then
Alison Brie.
right after that, they put out a documentary, which is what the show is based off of. And they interviewed all the ladies and kind of physically what they went through. And one of them, the one who plays, she's like the Hawaiian one.
Oh, like the Samoan lady?
yeah.
Yes.
The big chick.
She's based off a real person, and the real wrestler went through a lot of physical issues because of what she went through. Because she transferred from Glow and she transferred into the WWF and ended up being a wrestler, like a female wrestler in the WWF, and ended up having like huge physical ailments after
Sure.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Take a tremendous beating, despite it being, quote, fake.
No,
Yeah.
you just-
No,
You're still
I mean,
jumping off the top
there-
rope.
there's
You're still
fake-
landing.
But
Yeah.
it's really not.
Gravity
You're still
still
pulling
is
off
in
like
effect.
amazing stunt
Right.
work.
It's like, yes, we understand you're not actually getting punched in the mouth because you'd be dropped with, like Brock Lesnar hits you twice. You're
Yeah.
not getting up.
Yeah.
But your body
everything
is still
else,
being
your body's
slammed.
taking
You're
the
still
punishment.
trying to
Yeah.
dodge the punch by making like it appear
look
that you're
cool.
being punched.
Yeah, and you gotta make it look the
No, I-
You're still on top of the ladder when someone tips it over.
Right. And just like Jim Ross would say, in those ladder matches, it was, dude, how do you learn to fall off a 20-foot ladder onto concrete?
Right,
You don't,
without
right?
breaking some bones first, because
Right.
you have to go through the
Hey,
process.
there's like an inch of padding
I
in
mean,
that
I would
concrete.
Right,
say,
yeah.
So come on, really.
what do you think have is worse, the wrestlers or football players? Because football players get beat up, but wrestlers, I think, are almost on par with football players as far as how much the constant
much,
physical
absolutely.
beating on.
Especially the pay-per-views now. It's like it's not a pay-per-view match unless somebody goes through every announce table and gets
Yeah.
smashed through the
And
barricade.
I mean, there's been a lot of
I
attention
should open
placed
a
on
business just
on,
making announce tables.
Right, you should.
Uncle Tom's Folding Table Company.
There's been a lot of attention placed on like the concussions of football players, but I mean, I would say wrestlers have the same amount of injury.
And chair
Not
shots.
more.
Back
You know,
problems, knee
Mick
problems.
Foley getting chairs bent over his skull.
God.
I don't care who
Yeah.
you
What's-
are.
what is their like mental state like once they get past a certain age?
Well, they don't get past a certain age.
They
No,
all
they
die
don't.
by 50.
China,
That's about it.
China,
She went off
She
the
wasn't.
rails.
That was a drug.
Oh, she went
issue.
way off the rails. She
Yep.
did porno
She was
and
doing
everything.
porn and drugs
Yeah.
and died.
Well,
and-
she was in a like really bad relationship, and
Yeah.
like I was a fan of China when she was on WWF because there wasn't a lot of strong, I'd say, female characters that was that strong,
And now,
and she kind of made the name.
kind of off of that, they brought the women's championship back and had a division. But now the one positive thing I will say about the WWE is that their women's division is incredible. They have an incredible, huge cast of women wrestlers now, and they are amazing athletes, especially Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte. Like, she's a machine. She does moonsaults off the top rope to the outside. And she took her dad's finisher to another level, the figure eight, puts you in a figure four, then bridges it.
See,
and
you
puts
have
your
to
legs
respect
up here.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
they have a ton of women wrestlers now that are amazing, and more than half
I
the
was not
time
impressed with the women wrestlers when I went to the last WWE show in Milwaukee.
they overshadow the men.
It
Like,
was not good.
you got like
Yeah.
Charlotte, Natalia, because that's
It
like
was a
Bret Hart's
three-
niece.
Woman match, I believe. But it was only a house show. It wasn't like a
Yeah,
Pay-per-view
yeah.
show.
They have
or a Monday night or
They have
Thursday.
a rock solid cast now, like Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks.
See, I'm
Charlotte
so out of the loop when it like because I haven't watched it in years, but I still have like total respect for people who go in that profession because it just beats you up.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, less than 2 years, they've raised it to another level. It went from being like hard to watch, and then they basically weeded out all those people, and they basically started over like less than 2 years ago, and it's really good.
Well, Matt was at that show. What'd you think of the women one?
They
I don't
main
know.
event
It-
pay-per-views now.
Underwhelming. When
Yeah.
we saw it.
I don't remember who it was.
Like
There
they
were
don't
three
take those
chicks.
leaps or they don't like push the envelope or
They were not taking the bumps right, and it looked like they were missing cues, and it just looked unorganized.
Were
there
they
was a lot of that
ripped? Because
early
like not
on.
everyone looked like China.
Oh no, they were ripped.
They were ripped.
Okay.
They were ripped
They
and
just
built.
didn't- they
it
didn't
was
hit
just bad performance that
Yeah.
night.
yeah. See, then it
When we
goes
saw
back
it.
to like what you have to do to be like professional wrestler. Like you have to make it look real, and otherwise people just don't buy it. And I think that's
Yeah.
such a talent that you.
Oh, you know,
have
people are running
everything.
off the ropes and then missing their grabs, and
Yeah.
then you can
and
tell.
then you're like,
and
you know,
it's-
as a fan, you're
all
like,
you gotta do,
whatever,
you know, it can be a
fake.
10-minute show. If you miss 2 moves, that's all we're gonna remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like very scrutinized.
Hell in the Cell last year, first time women ever headlined a pay-per-view. Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks headlined the first ever women's match, Hell in the Cell, and it was amazing. Like, Charlotte, Sasha was climbing the cage, and Charlotte grabbed her and power bombed her through the announce table. Like, they've taken it to
Announce
another.
tables.
They've taken it to another level.
There you go. Rack it up.
Yeah,
Put another
yeah.
order in for Uncle Tom's Announce Table Company.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the last year it's gotten really good.
All right.
See, it just shows I have to get back into watching those things. Like, well, just cancel the cable. So I
Monday
guess
Night Raw?
Yeah.
You don't even need
Monday
cable
night.
anymore.
Is
You
it
never-
still Monday nights though? Like,
Yeah, Monday
that
night
was such
Raw
a Monday
and
night
Tuesday
staple.
SmackDown now. Monday,
Tuesday?
Mhm.
What?
SmackDown's a Tuesday.
When did that happen?
Last July.
Ah.
Okay. That's how little I've been following it.
Yeah.
Be careful. They don't
WWE
want to go the way
Network,
of the
$9
NFL,
a
where it's
month.
also like Monday night, Tuesday
Too much
night,
for my
Thursday
Wednesday
night, Sunday.
Saturday.
It has all the archives of everything from the past.
Well, I know guys who have that on DVD.
So what do you guys like for fall food ideas? Because I know we're going to come over to your place soon, and you're making your goddamn
Tomato soup.
tomato soup again.
Oh,
We can do a grilled cheese bar
grilled
again.
cheese bar with tomato soup.
That's what we do. We get all this crazy cheese.
Something you would never do years
Oh,
ago.
we're
I know,
such
I hated
cheese
it.
hoarders.
Mark's
And now
tomato
I got
soup is
old
so
and
good.
enough taste buds died. I
I
can
think
stand
the
it.
key to a good grilled cheese bar is you have to have multiple cheeses. Like, don't go with like mozzarella and cheddar.
Nope,
you
Mark
gotta,
always
you gotta
starts with the
branch
old
out.
You
traditional.
gotta have a good foundation to build your sandwich on. You gotta
Yeah.
have a slice of American cheese first and foremost on every one.
Yeah.
And then roughage.
Roughage is key.
Yeah.
You gotta have like peppers and
Spinach, some onion,
spinach.
Yeah.
Avocado.
some bacon.
Now, I heard that
Throw an egg in
tomato,
there.
bacon, and grilled cheese is like the new hit sandwich.
Yeah.
I'd have one.
You're the sandwich king.
I am.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, that's so like 75 years ago for me.
BLT.
Sandwich King.
BLTs
You
are making a
commoners.
comeback.
He finally caught up to you?
Yeah, you finally caught up to me in 2010.
Damn.
Congratulations.
You're level 10, dude.
Yeah, like I made a grilled cheese on Friday actually, and I did
It's an
spinach and
underrated
avocado and.
Because you can fancy it up. Like,
Yeah.
you have a lady friend over, you can make a grilled cheese. You just got to put the right cheese in it.
Yeah.
Get some of the right bread.
Alex had a lady friend over when we got here today.
Check it. I usually
Yep, he did.
usually
It reeks like sex in you.
I don't do grilled cheese for a lady friend. I
Just
usually
blows it by.
go. You know.
See, but you can, like, there's some pretty
Mac and
artisan
cheese.
cheese.
Mac and cheese is out now.
You like, I'm making you a classic, but with artisan cheese. And you got the
Artisan
expensive
is so
artisan
fake.
cheese.
$15 Gruyere.
I know, but it sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Or-
you know?
Yeah, I know. I hate when McDonald's says they have artisan bread.
Artisan
And artisan,
bread.
like the definition is limited quantity made by one person.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
We got
This
eight
bread
buns.
was made
we
by
got
one
8
person.
buns today.
Buns.
Get them while they're fresh.
Yeah.
You're done.
No, it's not artisan.
Limited pressing.
Alright, since we're talking about fall, what do you guys think about a bonfire versus a fireplace? Mao.
Oh, definitely a bonfire most nights. It's completely different experience sitting outside around a fire. Although you got sometimes the bugs and it's cold, but I like the atmosphere. Inside you can be cozy by a fireplace, but I'd prefer a bonfire.
Alex, what are you doing?
I would prefer a bonfire, but some of the outside fireplaces, like some of the new stuff I've seen people do around their homes, is pretty neat.
Okay.
But I would prefer for it to be outside. 'Cause it's kind of almost the last thing you get to do outside before here in the Midwest we're stuck indoors for 6 months mostly. You know.
I like the bonfire. I like the midwinter bonfire. It takes a lot more wood, but it's just like you get so cabin fever that I don't need to sit inside. And then it gets too hot around the fireplace. And then you can't cool it off. You just have to let it burn out.
Never been a big fireplace in the house fan.
Well, it's kind of in the background. I mean, I'm with Tom. Like, you know what? I think during the winter, particularly if you live in Wisconsin, you get a little bit of cabin fever. And yeah, does it suck, like, going outside, like, oh, fuck, I'm freezing. But, I mean, it still is that communal experience where everybody's, it's kind of like when you go on a trip and nothing actually goes right. It's the same thing with a bonfire, I think. Everybody's kind of freezing, but we're freezing together.
Mm-hmm.
Versus a fireplace, it's in the background. Oh, just turn up the heat a little bit. Everybody's warm. We don't really care about the fire. It's a backdrop. Whereas a bonfire, I think it's much more communal.
Well, and then when you're a dude like me, and Molly has a fireplace at her house, every once in a while it's just like, hey, Tom, can you get the bird out of the fireplace? Sure. Light the fire.
Oh, we went
Do you
the
want
cheap
the
route.
bat out?
We bought a fireplace, like the electric
One of those
ones.
space heaters that
And you
looks like
flip
a
a
stove.
switch, and there's a fake fire,
Oh,
and then it
yeah.
puts out heat.
Were those Amish
Oh, it's
ones? Or?
so
No, it's from
lame.
Menards.
It's not even
That's
that cool. It's Menards. It cost us like $80. We went fake flames, fake wood.
We used to have a fake fireplace at my parents'
So
house
sad.
too. But it was broke, so we just had a fake fireplace that didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Fake
See,
crackling log noises.
It was
Yeah.
just
I
there
mean,
to hang Christmas stockings
Put it up on Netflix. The Yule log.
And I think, like, if you're from the Midwest or if you're from, like, Northeast area, bonfires, I mean, it's really a part of our culture
Yeah,
because
definitely.
people freeze, but they freeze together. And, they, like, you're grouped around, like, the fire pit. And I know, like,
I've been to 1,000.
have you ever been to a snipe hunt?
1,000.
Snipes. You been to snipes? If you go north and they invite you to a snipe hunt,
Yeah, it's a fake thing.
it's a
right?
fake thing. It's like a jackalope.
Yeah.
Where they're like, we're going on the snipe hunt, and they send you
Even
out.
though a snipe
And
is a
basically,
real
everybody
duck.
who's in the know
Rabbit?
hangs around the fire while you're like freezing your ass off looking for a snipe. But I mean, it's such a Midwestern thing. I think you gotta embrace the bonfire.
I feel there's some hard coasty people right now going, you guys are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Most people are stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing better than when you have snow falling and you're at a bonfire.
Or just the atmosphere of being out there and you got the stars, out and you're sitting out enjoying a
Wildlife
nice
too.
bonfire. Yeah.
We were
Just
sitting around a
don't
bonfire
guess.
and there was
Yeah.
5 raccoons in our tree, and we were sitting around the bonfire. We heard all this noise, and we're like,
I thought the
fuck is
squirrels
that?
were having a
Look at all
war
the
up there.
squirrels, and it turns out it's like 5 raccoons.
A whole family of them.
And so, I mean, there's a point. It's like it's camaraderie. You're experiencing nature, you're experiencing wildlife, you're experiencing everything. It's outdoors.
And let's not leave out the fact that everybody is drinking. Always
What?
at a bonfire
No.
every time.
No, alcohol and bonfires, fire and alcohol.
Let's not make it sound like we're all like a tight-knit family. We're all drunk.
Some nice scotch and a cigar.
We're all drunk.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, cigar at a bonfire too.
fine cigars. Yes,
And good scotch.
good scotch and a bonfire. That's like, you know what?
Tom has no idea what you're talking about. He
I-
comes to Switchers and Clan McGregor.
Oh my
guys like,
Hey, I have
Stuff
to say,
was so bad.
My God, I drank Clan McGregor 3 years ago and I'm still hungover.
Here, I got you
say,
scotch.
I introduced Tom to fine
This is
cigars,
vile.
good scotch, and a good bonfire. Those are
No,
the
this
three
scotch
things.
you could run your car on.
Oh,
It
God.
was
Oh,
$4.95
God.
a gallon.
Have I
How
taught
can
you
even call
nothing?
it scotch?
We bought it for, weren't we bringing it to like Summer Sounds?
No, it was Gertie's party.
Yeah, the meat party.
Oh, that's right.
The what?
The meat
You
party.
having a meat
We had a
raffle?
Party?
Yeah, he made like briskets and all sorts of shit.
Just thousands of
Oh.
pounds of meat he made.
Yeah.
You need to call it something.
I like it. We're gonna stick with
The
meat party.
party?
Gertie's meat party.
Oh, God.
I like it.
Yeah.
Roll with that.
Alex and I. So tell us about your fear of microphones. Why don't you like that?
Microphones?
Look right into it.
Yeah, is it
No,
because
I-
of the
Look
shape?
at my
right
face
now,
right now.
I am about,
Is it
I'd say
the
a
shape?
1.5 feet away from the microphone.
Mm.
You know what? It's stage fright thing. I have an older sister who loves microphones. And,
Yeah.
and
Is it the shape?
maybe it's the shape, the pleasing roundness and long. No.
Would it make you feel better if I put a little flap of foreskin
You know what,
over the top of the microphone?
Or worse.
You know, the good part about podcasts, I think, that it's out there is for people who have an issue of talking in front of people. Podcasts, you have your good friends around you, you have a microphone, but there's no one out in the audience looking at you. It's not like it's staged. You don't have like a script going off of it. I used to have a hard time remembering my script, and I look at people in the audience, and I feel like, oh my God, they're judging me right now.
When we tried doing
I
our
got
reads
really
at first off a
nervous.
script, I couldn't do it off a script.
It's
I sounded
trash.
No,
It was trash.
Scripts are really hard, I think, and I think they sound a little bit more rigid, and you don't get the conversations you need, and no, that's where my fear of microphones. That's funny.
look at
Before I came on
look
this,
at
I'm
my
like,
Ask
I have
Alex
a-
Anything notes here.
yeah,
Ma's question: sex robot peeing
in the shower.
That's all we need.
That's
No.
all I got.
Well, before I did this, I was like, I was really nervous. This morning, I was talking to a few people at the mill because I was working on designs and such. And I was like, no, I'm going to go on this podcast this afternoon, and I'm really nervous about it because I have this fear of microphones. Well, the nice thing is I don't have the audience. And maybe it's not a fear of a microphone as much as a fear of an audience that I have.
I'm looking right through you at this moment.
Oh, as Tom strokes
Does
the
this
microphone.
make you feel better? As I stroke this
Shame on
microphone?
you.
Would it help if you painted a little crying Susan surrounded by giant microphones all pointing at her?
No, I think a lot of people's ideas are heard because of the idea of an audience is terrifying. It's like you don't see their judgment. Well, at least with podcasts, you don't have to think about their judgment.
Well, when we had this release, we were either going to get a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's the worst thing you're getting.
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
I think I'm the only one that's just like, let's do this. Kind of just bother me
You
at all.
just smooth
I have
operator.
no anxiety.
So-
no.
What if you had like 50 people in front of you?
I-
Like, say you're in a bar and you're doing your live podcast, and there's like 50 people listening to you talk, and you have to be you have to try to be interesting, you have to be engaged, you know, like you have all these things that you want to think about in a podcast, but there's now 50 people in front of you, and you can see their expressions.
I play acoustic shows at places, so like I just go and do that. But also, like, my cousin used to play shows too, and sometimes I would go up and I would address the audience on shirts and merchandise and stuff like that, and I just never had an issue.
Never bothered you.
See, when I was president of Phi Theta Kappa, I would talk to people and everything. It wasn't the talking to people that freaked me out. It was the 20 minutes of waiting to do it. Getting up to talking to people. Once I got up there, I was fine. It was just the anxiety of getting like, oh my god, I gotta talk.
See, I always thought, it's like, what if you're really enthused about a subject and you're excited and you're bringing that enthusiasm and you look out into your audience, and you don't recognize. Yeah, they're on their phones. They're looking at like Facebook, and you don't see the same excitement and enthusiasm that you saw in your topic.
Exactly happened one time. I was doing a PTK thing, and I was trying to we were doing a movie night, and I was doing this announcement, and it was free chicken wings, free movie, everything you wanted.
Sold. Let's go.
It was the Princess Bride.
I'll listen to whatever you have to say.
Free movie, free soda, free popcorn.
Andre the Giant movie.
Everybody can bring a guest, and nobody was looking. And I literally, in the middle of it, went, and one lucky person will be covered in honey and roll around in $100 bills. And nobody even reacted.
Yeah, see,
like, oh my god.
That's terrifying to me. That's terrifying. It's like, you don't get it, do you? And then all of a sudden you're like, it's me, isn't it? It's me.
No, it was just nobody gave a shit because they were in the middle of school.
Oh God, I'm just going to talk to my feet.
We're going to pick one person out, cover them in honey, and they can roll around 100 and keep all the money.
Terrible.
Nobody said a word. I'm like, okay, why am I up here?
For this doesn't bother me, but like when I do play a show, the first couple songs, I am very nervous because my hands are sweaty, and it's hard, when you're playing the guitar,
right?
You have to be precise because when you're just an acoustic, you're completely exposed. You make one mistake, everybody knows it because it's the only thing there is. Nothing's covering it up. There's no drums. There's no second guitar. There's nothing. So like you're worried about that, but then I'd say about the start of the third song, I'm settled in and I couldn't give a shit.
And then you just move forward.
And I just go because then I get that attitude back up. Like I'm up here, you're not. If you want to be up here, by all means. Come up here, that's just kind of how it is. But to your point too, I've also been playing and I see people on their phone and I'm thinking to myself, why are you here? You're not looking at me, you're not recording me, you're just doing stuff. Go home.
Well, and I've seen YouTube videos of like people who are bigger stars than, like Foo Fighters calling people up and saying, hey, why are you on your phone right now?
Right.
Like, I am putting my heart and soul out on this stage, and you're on your phone.
Yeah.
And they've called them up on the microphone. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Green Day tried to get rid of phones for the Green Bay show. So, like, when we were doing crowd interaction stuff, Billy Joe was like, I don't want to see any phones for this. He's like, we're going to do it old school. Everybody put your fucking hands in the air. Sing along. Move around. Like...
See, it goes back to our conversation, like how the phone has interacted with the arts, just like music and art in general. Like it's a great tool, I think sometimes, but on other ends, I think you miss out on a lot because you're on your phone. And I don't mean to make myself feel old, but I mean with photography and with arts and with music. Like how many times have you gone to a concert now and people are looking on their phone instead of focusing in on that person who's pouring themselves out on the stage?
They're too busy cataloging the event.
Yeah, they're cataloging the event to post on Facebook later.
Yeah.
And not focused in on the music.
Yeah, and I do videos of certain things when I go to shows too, but like when I lock in and I get the view I want, I do one of these.
Yeah. Yeah, just lean aside.
Because I don't need
and-
to see
and,
this.
like,
I
'cause
know
you're
what
gonna
it's
see it
doing.
later.
You can watch this later.
Right. Yeah.
Focus in and be in that moment
Yeah.
and enjoy that moment. Like, how great is
I
that?
don't know. I think the older generations, if they had the ability to have the technology, they would do the
because
same
people
thing.
Do the same
because
thing.
people always tried to sneak in the big things
Yeah.
in bootleg shows for money and
Yeah.
stuff. And now there are even things that stop that. I put a post out a couple months ago from the Rancid Dropkick Murphy show. I recorded
Dropkick.
I recorded the first song that Dropkick played, and they wouldn't let me post the video because it wasn't my intellectual property. And
fair enough.
Facebook shut it down from that specific song being posted because it wasn't Dropkick Murphy's song; it belonged to somebody else. And whoever that person is, would like the video was blocked when I uploaded my videos from the show.
Damn.
So like, I think over time you'll eventually see that come to an end.
As the
Pendulum.
software gets better and better at
Yeah.
recognizing what is what.
Yes.
It's that pendulum swing. Like, it's like what we were talking before with like your grandparents and like the idea of developing your own film. I think the pendulum will swing from everybody moving away from that and going more to the phone, and it'll go back the other way. It's like, hey,
Right.
this is copyrighted. This is, you should just be focusing in on the moment and enjoying it.
I'll be honest, I don't know where I stand with something like this because
That's hard.
it's their art, they made it, but you also paid, especially usually myself, I'm also paying a lot of money to be
to
here
experience
and
it.
to be up close with certain acts, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, so do I have the right to record this because I paid to be here? I am paying you for your art. Do I get to record this or do I not?
I think the line is as long as you're not charging people.
Well, you're
Right.
As long as you're not hurting the original artist, because they might be charging, but if you're giving it away for free, now the artist is
Yeah.
getting nothing.
As long as you're
Yeah,
just
I
using
think
it for
it's
yourself.
when you record it but then post it, and
But then that is a whole thing that the
Yeah.
founding
Right.
fathers never thought of in
Right,
the
because, yeah,
Constitution.
I'm not making money.
Copywriting.
I'm sharing
Founding
with
fathers
only
were
my
a bunch
friends,
of smugglers
you know?
and criminals.
And
They didn't want King George
Johns.
looking at what's on their boat.
well, what was that thing? we watch YouTube has this great thing where TED Talks. I don't know if everybody's familiar with
There's
that.
little 5-minute snippets they do.
5-minute snippets, and they were talking about YouTube and how that people can make like copies of YouTube videos and then they post it on Facebook, and then the people who originated the YouTube video, they don't receive any of those profits.
You put this conversation on Facebook under Tom and Alex's show or whatever, and you get the ad revenue. I copy it, I post it on my page. Now I'm making ad money off of what you guys
Right,
originally
you guys
made.
did.
I had nothing to do with it.
Right, you're literally just a third
mooching.
party,
yeah.
and you're.
I also
bootlegging it.
think that, as I was reading about the podcast shit, we can literally play a song off of YouTube, but we can't play a song on our show. We would have to send an 8-cent check somewhere. But if I just held my computer up and played it off of YouTube,
it'd be legit.
it's okay.
Oh.
Well, it's like
Which
when
is
you're
weird.
when you're at work, you
There's
can't.
lines
You
in
could play the
the
radio,
area.
but you can't put a CD in the
Yeah.
Yep.
the player
if you play,
for the overhead
if you play
speaker.
a CD in your establishment, if you go to like a coffee shop and you're playing CDs,
I know, Helen. You feel very strongly about this.
exactly. They actually you have to pay a fee. Because I know that one of the places I worked at, and it was a coffee shop, and they were playing CDs. They got busted for not paying fees to the FFA
That's why
for
everyone has that music.
playing CDs.
You can just put on Pandora, and then we
Yep.
don't pay anything then.
Yep, you don't have to pay.
Yep, then
There's
that's
certain
okay. I do
like
the same
streaming
thing for my
modes.
restaurant too.
Exactly. If you stream it, it's different than if you're playing CDs.
Yeah, what was it? The Jew wanted us to play a song last week or something?
Did he?
I think Madonna or something. You should introduce me with Madonna.
Has Ian been on
Like
the
a
podcast?
Yeah, he was
Oh
on
my
it
god, I
last
have to listen to that.
He got
Sure.
salty in the bonus contest last week. We had to
Super
settle
salty
him
in the
down.
bonus.
He got legitimately upset with me that I said Star Wars over Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was that
the
noise,
muscle
Mark?
is flexing.
But see,
What was
that's
that
the
noise,
thing.
Mark?
I'm not saying I'm right.
I know,
My
it's-
opinion is better than you. It's a
They're both batting 500, sadly.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like for every... Originally, there were 3 good Star Wars movies. Now there's, like, 3 good ones, 3 bad ones, and 1 that's okay. You could say the same thing about Star Trek. It's like every even number 1 is awesome. The odd number 1 sucks. You get to the TNG ones, they all suck. The reboots, it's not my thing, but people like it.
I thought the third movie in the reboots sucked.
They're getting. I didn't like any of them, but they're
the first one.
they're watchable. I enjoy them. It's just I have to tell myself this isn't Star Trek. This is just action sci-fi movie.
God, I hate the both. I hate them both.
That's fine. That's the thing. Like I'm somebody that
I'm a Doctor Who fan because he fixed things with a wrench.
And
it's a screwdriver. So you're not even a doctor.
It's a lady now. It's gonna be a lady.
I know. It's one of those things. Like I think the more you try to explain things, which is what TNG does. And
despite her NASA sweatshirt, Susan doesn't believe women belong in space. She did not like the movie Gravity.
I love this space I used to get astronomy magazine. I was all about like telescopes and I'd go out there and like every single time there was a meteor shower, and then I realized I would never be an astronaut because I have flat feet and terrible eyesight and asthma.
So nobody's going.
And I suck at math. I'm zero fun here when it comes to NASA. So.
Well, we're going to have Molly's cousin and his wife on. He's a rocket scientist for NASA. She does podcasting.
I would totally listen to that podcast.
Yeah.
Let me know when that happens, because I went to high school with Travis. There are a few people, when you go to high school with somebody, it's like, oh, that person could be somebody. Oh, that person could be the guy hanging out at the bar. And it came out kind of randomly. Tom and Molly were over at our house, and we realized we were talking about the same person from high school, and it was her cousin. So, no, that's going to be a great podcast. I got to listen to that.
Yes.
Awesome.
On there. All right, let's do another little thing here. Board games. What the fuck you guys been up to? We just played Settlers of Catan last time.
With the Helpers expansion.
Yeah. Settlers is the gateway.
Alex is not a board guy.
You're not a board game person? You seem like it.
I enjoy board games, but it's very specific, and I don't like to reach out.
He likes to play Star Wars Epic Duels.
Star Wars Monopoly.
Fantastic.
Star Wars Monopoly.
I don't have Star
All snap, you just bought Coruscant.
Yeah.
So if people try to
Star
make
Wars
you play
Connect
like
4?
the gateway games,
I don't even know what that is.
like Catan.
The games that get
Catan.
easy games to learn that'll send you down the rabbit hole.
So Settlers of Catan is known as kind of the gateway game, kind of like a gateway drug. Where if you play Settlers of Catan and you absolutely love it, like you have to go to the next level.
These games get nuts. We've been on like way nuts.
Yeah.
levels of board games.
It's great because it's not necessarily
It's simple
cheap.
and easy to learn.
But it's
it's
a
not
group
cheap.
effort. You're like communicating with people. You're engaged with other people, so it's a social aspect to it.
You have to have
But
like a
You gotta
120
be
IQ
on
to
your
play these
game.
games.
Like it's brain exercises. It's great for
Yeah.
your brain, mentally.
My cousin Michael and his wife and their friends, they play a lot of games, and I can't remember the
You
one.
need the right group.
I can't remember the game that they played that I enjoyed. But I also played another like card game just called Morel, and that was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, and I think sometimes people are like, board games, what a geek. It's like, but
Shoot some
you're
letters.
using your mind. You're engaging with other people, and a lot of times it's like,
Dude, when you
God, it's so
realize
fun.
you're a board gamer is that moment when you drop $90 fucking
dollars.
on
Oh,
a
they're
board
so
game.
expensive.
I like
Holy
Atmosphere.
fuck.
I don't know if you remember that from the late 90s. It was a VHS game, like you had to race against
Oh,
the
they
game.
were
yeah.
big.
They
Okay,
do-
yes.
Yeah, they do that with
You
the-
filthy maggot. That one.
I have that.
Okay.
I enjoy that. I bust it out about once a year with my cousins and we'll play.
Yep.
And there was expansion tapes too that are more difficult. I enjoyed that.
Yep.
And yeah, Star Wars Epic Duels, love that.
See,
one.
I just bought the
you're-
Star Trek The Next Generation VHS board
Do
game.
you have that?
Want to come over and play it?
Yeah, that's a great game. My cousin Philip and I played it last year. We busted out of his closet. Seriously.
See, what we're dealing with
It's
is
fantastic.
is a
Yeah.
closeted
Klingon
board
took over the
gamer.
Enterprise.
You're
Yeah,
a
but
closeted
you guys-
board gamer.
Okay.
It's just
You guys, I got one real quick point. You do notice that all the guys have VHS players because they can't bring themselves to throw out their old porn.
I wish that was
A
true.
chick does not have a VHS player.
I don't have any VHS
Wait,
porn.
what is it about VHS?
I I wish that was
he makes
true.
fun of me
I don't
because
have
of
that
all my
anymore.
VHS tapes
I wish I did.
that I own.
But dude,
Hit the tracking button, dude.
damn it! I got all this porn,
blow,
but I can't throw
You
off
take
my
it out.
VHS
You gotta
player.
blow into the tape, and then you blow into the little slot.
Whoa.
NES
Yeah, you
cartridge.
gotta,
On a first date?
Damn!
Yeah, it's
Did
the
someone
whole
take you to
experience.
See, for me, that's halfway to first base.
Yeah,
Halfway to first base. You're blowing it.
Blowing it a little
Gotta
bit.
get that
taking it
dust
out.
out of there.
Get it dusted off. Halfway to
That's,
first
that's
base.
another inside
Yep.
joke from
That is a-
that nobody's gonna understand.
Nope. Halfway to first base.
Halfway to first base, blow on a little bit.
Blow on it. Yep. We're
Gently,
just doing a
gently,
bunch.
soft hands.
Oh, warm hands.
Gotta have
too.
soft hands.
And warm.
And don't be cold for this guy.
Oh man. Mel's got those Grim Reaper hands. I can't stand it.
That's every female. Deal
It's
with
like
it.
fucking
all
Voldemort
female
grabbing you by the
feet and hands
balls.
are
Feet
freezing
and
at all
hands.
times, and they
Feet
tuck
and
them under your
hands.
body and just have to deal with it.
Oh
It's
my
living.
god.
It's male
It's
life.
terrible.
It's horrible.
Skeletor.
Skeletor grabbing me by the schmingus.
The corporal.
Oh fuck, we're pushing time, dude.
Yeah,
What do you think?
we're really dragging this on.
Oh,
Sorry.
my
We're
God.
just going downhill.
All right. Well, let's fucking do a couple reads and let's get Susan some more popularity here. Susan, tell us about your shit. Let's go.
What
Wow.
about shit?
He's really checking out here, folks.
I am just tapping. We're done.
Give us the elevator sales pitch.
The elevator sales pitch. Other than the Arts Mill, you know,
In Grafton.
in Grafton, you can see me down at the Marshall Building. I do a pop-up studio, usually on gallery nights. It's usually on the 5th floor. Paula Christensen, who is my mentor, she's like the art goddess. She's given me so many opportunities. She has this pop-up studio that I participate in. She's the one who started the Arts Mill. She started a non-for-profit art school called North Shore Academy of the Arts. Look it up. It's great. It's located in Grafton, but they work with all different levels, whether you're an adult, whether you're special needs, whether you're just average, you know, just someone who's interested in art. It's a great place to go. It's a home away from home. Other than that, yeah, check us out. I'm all about the community, so Arts Mill.
All about the community.
Grafton.
Thank you. Grafton, Cedarburg. Not so much Cedarburg.
Cedarburg.
Stay away from the guild.
The guild in Cedarburg, the Arts Mill Guild. There's an artist guild in Cedarburg. I respect them.
I'm not
I
paying
think
you,
they're a little
baby.
bit closeted out to other artists. I'm mostly a part of the art movement in Grafton right now because we're a little bit more open. And it's all about promoting someone's career and everybody's career versus just a few, and getting them to spread their wings a little bit and move on to other things. So,
All right.
yeah.
All right. I just want to say thank you all for whoever bought the special edition podcast. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
I don't need to read you any plugs because if you're listening to this, we already have your money and you know where to find everything. So thanks.